Hello children, in this video we are going to cover lesson number 4, solving word problems of chapter 4, fractions. Starting with an example, we have Priya weighs 28 kg. She is 8 times as heavy as her cat. How much do Priya and her cat weigh in total? Express your answer as a decimal. In this example, we have represented cat weight as one block or a single block. Now, Priya is 8 times heavier than the cat, so Priya weight is represented by 8 blocks. Now, 8 blocks is equivalent to 28 kgs. So, in order to find out the weight of one block, we are going to divide 28 by 8. By this way, we are able to find the weight of the cat, and by adding the weight of the Priya and cat we will find out the total weight which is required in the question. So by dividing 28 by 8 we have got 28 3 whole number 1 over 2, and by adding this weight in 28 we have 31 whole number 1 over 2, which is our required answer. And in order to represent it in a decimal form, we have used a calculator. So we have 31 into 2 is 62, plus 1 is 63, and 63 divided by 2 is 31.5 kg in total, which is our answer. In example 2, Sam cycled one whole number 1 over 5 kilometers along Route A from his home to the library. He then cycled from the library to Wemmick's house using Route P, which was one whole number 1 over 2 kilometers longer than Route A. Find the total distance Sam cycled. Now Route P is larger or longer than Route A, so let's say as given in the example, it's one whole number 1 over 2 kilometers extra than Route A. So we have represented Route A with a one block of distance 1 whole number 1 over 5 kilometers. Now we have represented Route B with 2 blocks, and the one additional block is of one whole number 1 over 2 kilometers as given in the question, that this times longer than Route A. So collectively Route B is one whole number 1 over 5 plus one whole number 1 over 2. As we have used the methods in our previous lessons, first we have made the denominator same and then add them up, so we have 2 whole number 7 over 10, which is the total distance of Route B. Now what we have to find is the total distance Sam cycled. So we are going to add up one whole number 1 over 5 kilometers into 2 whole number 7 over 10 kilometers, which is equivalent to 3 whole number 9 over 10. And in order to get this answer, we first convert or make the denominator same, so our addition becomes easier. So we have converted one whole number 1 over 5 into one whole number 2 over 10, and then added it into the 2 whole number 7 over 10. So we have 1 plus 2 is equals to 3, and 2 plus 7 is 9 over 10, which is the total distance Sam cycled in kilometers. In example 3, we have there were some pecan pies and apple pies in a bakery. There were 4 whole number 1 over 8 pecan pies. There were 2 whole number 3 over 4 more pecan pies than apple pies. How many pies were there at the bakery in total? Express your answer as a mixed number in its simplest form. In order to know the total number of pies, we need to know the exact amount of pecan pies and apple pies. The number of pecan pies is given in the question, which is 4 whole number 1 over 8. But for apple 4 from 4 whole number 1 over 8. We are not going to perform this subtraction directly because though the denominator are same, but still if we can subtract 2 from 4, which results in 2, but we can subtract 6 from 1 as it results in a negative value. So first we have converted these mixed number into a fraction form by multiplying 8 with 4 and adding 1. We have 33 over 8 minus 8 into 8 is 16 plus 6 is 22 over 8. Now we have an answer 11 over 8, and then we have converted 11 over 8 into a mixed number with the help of a division, and we have one whole number 3 over 8 apple pies in total. Now in order to find out the total number of pies, we are going to add a 4 whole number 1 over 8 and 1 whole number 3 over 8. So we have 4 plus 1 5 and 1 plus 3 is 4 over 8. But we have to represent a mixed number in its simplest form, and we know that 4 and 8 are further reduced with the help of 2. So we have 5 whole number 1 over 2, which is the total number of pies. Here comes the last part, which is a practice question section. So the question number 1 says that Mrs. Lee divided 14 cakes equally into 6 boxes. She gave away 5 boxes of the cakes and kept 1 box for herself. Mrs. Lee ate one whole number 1 over 4 cakes in the box. How many cakes did Mrs. Lee have left? Now, first of all, we need to find out the exact number or the amount of cake in a single box. To find this out, we have to divide 14 cakes, which is the total number of cakes, to the 6 boxes, as they have divided equally into 6 boxes. So we divide 14 by 6, and as a result we have 2 whole number 2 over 6, which can further reduce to 2 whole number 1 over 3. So a single box contains 2 whole number 1 over 3 number of cakes. Now Mrs. Lee has given away 5 boxes, and she has 1 box with her, out of which she ate 1 whole number 1 over cake. So we just simply subtract 1 whole number 1 over 4 from 2 whole number 1 over 3 in order to get the answer or the leftover number of cakes. In order to subtract, we first need to make the denominator same. So we have converted 2 whole number 1 over 3 into 4 over 12 minus 1 whole number 1 over 4 into 3 over 12. And we have multiplied and divided 1 whole over 3 by 4, and we have multiplied and divided 1 over 4 by 3. So they become 2 whole number 4 over 12 minus 1 whole number 3 over 12. Now 2 minus 1 is 1, and 4 minus 3 is 1 over 12. So 1 whole number 1 over 12 is the answer or the amount of cake left with Mrs. Lee. Now the question 2 says that Zini makes some syrup and water to make a drink. She used 2 whole number 4 over 5 liter of water. The volume of water used was 1 whole number 3 over 10 liter more than the volume of syrup used. What was the total volume of drink Zini made? In order to find out the total volume, we should know the volume of water and the syrup. The volume of water is exactly given as 2 whole number 4 over 5, but the amount, in order to find out the volume of syrup, we have to subtract 1 whole number 3 over 10 from 2 whole number 4 over 5, because 1 whole number 3 over 10 liters water is more than the amount of the syrup. So this number is going to be subtracted from the water in order to get the amount of syrup. So in order to perform the subtraction, we have first make the denominator same by multiplying and divide 4 over 5 by 2, so it becomes 8 over 10. Now we have 2 whole number 8 over 10 minus 1 whole number 3 over 10. And 2 minus 1 is 1. A minus 3 is 5 over 10. So on further reduction we have 5 into 1 is 5 and 5 into 2 is 10. So we have one whole number 1 over 2, which is the volume of the syrup used in a drink. So in order to find out the total volume of a drink, we are going to add up the volume of water, which was 2 whole number 4 over 5, into a volume of syrup, which is 1 whole number 1 over 2. Again, in order to perform the calculation, we have to make the denominator same. So we have multiply and divide 4 over 5 by 2, so it becomes 8 over 10, and 1 over 2 by 5, so it becomes 5 over 10. Now we have 2 whole number 8 over 10 plus 1 whole number 5 over 10. So 2 plus 1 is 3 and 8 plus 5 is 13 over 10. We have converted this mixed number into a fraction form in order to further solve it. So we have 43 over 10, or we can use another method which we have studied in our last lesson, in which we just directly take the whole number part and then left with the fraction part, where we just directly take 1 out of 1 plus 3 over 10, so we have 4 whole number 3 over 10. Or we can first convert it into the fraction form and then with the help of the division convert it into the mixed number again, which we did, and we have an answer 4 whole number 3 over 10. This is the last part of the practice questions, which says that Kate had 6 chocolate bars. She ate 1 whole number 1 over 2 chocolate bars and gave 1 whole number 3 over 4 chocolate bars to Mailing. How many chocolate bars did Kate have left? We can directly solve it by the way that we have total 6 chocolate, and we can subtract the amount of chocolates the Kate eaten, and also subtract the amount of chocolate she has given to Melly. Or first we add up the part which she ate and she gave, and then subtract the total amount from 6. So we have adopted the second method, and first we have added the amount of chocolate Kate ate, which is 1 whole number 1 over 2, and the amount of chocolate she gave to Billy, which is 1 whole number 3 over 4, and then subtracted it from 6. So in order to perform the calculations, we have to make the denominator same. So first we are adding the two entities. So we have 1 whole number 2 over 4, as we have multiplied and divided 1 over 2 by 2, plus 1 whole number 3 over 4, which results in 1 plus 1 is 2 and 2 plus 3 is 5 over 4. So we are going to subtract this portion from 6 in order to get the answer. Now here we have taken the decimal, and in denominator we have 4, and this 4 is going to directly multiply by 6 because the denominator of 6 is 1. So 6 into 4 minus, now 4 into 1 is 4. So 13 is going to be multiplied by 1. We have 6 into 4 is 24 minus 13 into 1 is 13 divided by 4, which is 11 divided by 4, and we are going to convert this fraction into a mixed number with the help of division. So we have 2 whole number 3 over 4 as our answer, or the chocolate bar left with Kate. So this is the end of this lesson and this video. Do like and subscribe my channel. Thank you for watching.